Hey, party people, and welcome to another episode of the North Park Youth Podcast. My name is Josh, and I'm the youth pastor here at North Park, and this is my boy.
I'm Cody. I am the youth ministry assistant here at North Park.
You didn't need the I'm, because I said, here's my boy.
Oh, sorry, Cody, and I am the youth ministry assistant here at North Park.
Oh, boy. And we've got a great game here for you today because we are trying something new. We have come up with our own game.
We have.
Straight from the top of our domes.
Straight from the domes.
We came up with a game. And here is what we're doing today on the podcast. We like hobbies.
We do.
I've got a few. You've got a few. Mm-hmm. We like doing things.
We do.
Who doesn't like doing things?
Who don't like doing things?
Who don't like doing things? Everybody like doing things. And so what we're going to do is we are going to present to one another two different hobbies, one per round. And with hobbies, you need different things. Now,
That's
with
true.
unfamiliar hobbies, it's kind of hard. You have to do a bit of research to figure out what those things are.
Yep.
And so what we're going to do is present a hobby to one another. We're going to have to do a bit of research on what we need, and we'll give a number to each other of how many items we're thinking in our heads, because we've come up with a list of our own items for our own hobbies. Not necessarily things we do, but things we did our own research on.
Right.
And so we're going to give a number, and then we're going to try and assemble the amount, like what we think we need, and the most expensive versions of what we think we need to do those hobbies.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Let me give you a really quick example.
Okay.
Fly fishing. Love it. I haven't actually done it. I like fishing, but I'm getting into fly fishing.
Right.
Turns out there's all sorts of stuff, and it can get really, really expensive. So you might need a rod, a reel, a net, waders, flies, tools, like all these different things. Mm-hmm. And so I would say fly fishing. Then I give you, say, like, you need 7 things.
Right.
And then I have already pre-done the research to know my most expensive. I've come up with my own most expensive versions of these things, and you're going to try and beat that number. Sound good?
Right.
We're going to have 5 minutes. So, Cody, and we're going to, like, jump to the end, because I'm going to give Cody 5 minutes per round, and then we're going to jump to when he's done his research, and then he's going to explain what he found.
Right.
Make sense?
Yep.
All right. So, your first hobby, a hobby that's familiar to me, but I don't do myself. Pottery.
Ooh.
All right, so you have 5 minutes. Let's see how you did. All right, and welcome back. Cody has done some research.
I have.
And I forgot to tell him ahead of time, but I did tell him as he was doing his research. He needed to find 7 items. My list had 7 things on it, including one of those items was like a toolkit, like all these different tools that you need. So tell us what you came up with.
So right off the bat, I came up with an underwhelming amount of stuff.
It's hard. 5 minutes does not feel like a long time when you're researching an entire hobby.
My problem was, like, I didn't know where to look, because, like, I'm not into pottery at all. And so I was like, I don't know where to buy these things. So I was just kind of, my first, like, 3 minutes was, like, looking for where to actually buy things that weren't, like, fake or, like, really low quality.
Yeah.
So I only got 5 things.
Okay.
So I got a kiln, which I spent $2,500 on.
Okay.
I got a wheel, which I spent $1,500 on.
Okay.
I got a pack of like flat things with like jagged edges on them that I assume you can like scrape patterns into pottery with or something. Spent $20 on that.
Okay.
A brush set, which I'm sure is for texture and other things, for $10. And then I got a set of wire tools, also for $10. Cool. So I think total that is $4,040.
Okay, and remind me, is that Canadian or American?
That is, I didn't check.
I imagine it's U.S.
U.S. So should we do the conversion?
Yeah,
right
I've got it for you here.
Oh,
it
cool.
is $5,500 Canadian.
Okay, awesome.
All right. Well,
I think that might be underwhelming compared
it's a little
to
bit low. It's a little bit low,
list.
but that's okay. So if you didn't know, my wife Bree is into pottery, so I've kind of been in and around. If she's watching this right now, she's probably laughing at me because she's probably thinking there are like 30 things you need to get started.
Bree, I'm sorry for my lack of knowledge on pottery.
But hey, it's like any hobby. You can go deep into the weeds, right? So yes, you do need a wheel. Well, the most expensive wheel I could find is a Scott Thomas Stewart Legend wheel.
I looked on the Scott website, of course, not knowing that it's a good brand or anything.
Yeah.
They didn't have prices on their stuff, so I had to use a different website.
Yeah. So that was $3,000.
Okay.
Then we had a kiln. You were right, but you can get There's like commercial kilns, which I didn't get into the commercial ones, but
we
like
agreed before that like they're like a
residential
there's expensive
versus,
and then there's like the example that we use is like baking. I'm not going to use like a professional
like that you'd
oven.
find in like a restaurant or whatever.
Yeah.
So I found like a residential kiln made by Olympic for $6,800. It's like high capacity, so you can get a lot of pots in there.
That is intense.
Then there's a slab roller, which is something you put in your clay
like
and
to
then you
smooth it or
to
make it flat.
exactly. And so that was $950 for a North Star slab roller. Toolkit $117. But then there's a couple things that you forgot that are very important for the art of pottery.
Right.
You need clay to do pottery. You need clay.
I forgot clay.
Yeah, you forgot clay. And normally clay is like, $50 or $60 for 50 pounds. Like it's not very expensive at all.
Right.
Well, I found some very expensive clay.
Okay.
Turns out that there's something called PMC, which means precious metal clay.
Oh.
And you infuse like precious metals into the clay.
Okay.
And so
would that not be like professional stuff though?
No, I mean, I guess it depends. If Bree wanted to make like a really fancy mug, she could go and get this PMC clay. Like anyone can buy
and
it.
Then bake it, and then put it in the microwave.
Yes, yeah. So it turns out that the most expensive one, or at least that I could find, I'm actually certain there's probably more expensive than this.
Probably.
But 22 karat gold PMC, and it was only 3 grams. So we're talking like to make a cup of coffee needs about 20 grams. It's like nothing.
You couldn't make anything with 3 grams.
I don't know that this pen probably weighs 3 grams or less.
Like, could you actually sculpt anything?
So what I
3
think
grams?
you're doing is putting it into other clay, like mixing it in. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Okay.
Bree, you can let me know. Bree, let me know in the comments. But for 3 grams, $790. So expensive. And then
to have like 50 grams of that stuff.
Yeah, it would be like thousands and thousands, like hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of dollars. Probably millions. Maybe cajillions.
Wild.
It might be cajillions.
It might be bajillions.
Bajillions.
100 bajillion cajillion dollars.
A lot of money. And then the other thing very important for pottery is glaze to make it look pretty at the end. There's a whole process for it where you like throw it in the kiln and then you take it out and then you glaze it and put it back in.
Yeah.
$75 I found for 5 pounds of dry glaze. The French, what does it say? French fry? No.
Oh,
French gray.
The French fry glaze.
French gray medium fire glaze from Laguna was $75.
Nice. So your price was
my total. Yours was $5,500, which I mean, but I got to $11,727.
Right.
But I guess like the most expensive part of that was just the difference in our kiln prices.
Yeah.
So not too far off there, Cody. All right, what is the hobby that I'm going to be researching?
The hobby that you are going to be researching is slot cars.
Ooh, fun. All right, here we go. I've got 5 minutes. Okay, and we are back. So you told me how many items I was looking for.
I forgot again to tell you that before, but I made sure, I remembered while you were researching, I told you it was 6 items that I got, and I'm sure you could do more, but I limited mine to 6. So
sure.
How do you think you did?
Now here's the thing. I found 3 items.
Okay.
Because I knew, like with slot car racing, as you're researching, you figure out like all the different components, and you can tell very quickly that there are a bunch of like ways to upgrade your cars and your track and all that stuff.
Yep.
But I was running low on time because it is a much larger hobby than I anticipated.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things, like it goes very much more intense than I anticipated.
It's like,
so
if you aren't careful, you could see yourself spending a lot of money.
Yeah. So in US dollars, I found a set for $480.
Okay.
Made by a brand called Carrera. Then I found 2 cars because I didn't know how many cars you needed, and so I just went for the 2 that comes with the set, and then I added 2 more. But I found this really expensive car made by Carrera called the Plymouth Fury. Okay. It's like a vintage car, but they're made in production, so I felt like that was fair. They were $250 US per car for $500 US, and then I couldn't think of like what accessories to get, and I was running low on time, and so I found a set of little rubber tires for the car. For $10 US.
Okay.
And so my total was $1,350 Canadian after the conversion.
All right. So
I beat you, right?
Well, not really. It was. You know what? It was closer than I thought it was going to be. So I got 6 items.
Okay.
So my first one was a track.
Yep.
Which it's a digital track.
Yeah, because it's like there's analog and digital slot tracks, which mind blowing.
Yeah. So mine was a digital track. I got 2 cars, like it's like a kit. So 2 cars, 2 controllers, and a track.
Yep.
For $1,060, which already is a good chunk of my final price.
Yeah.
I got I added a car and a controller,
right?
Which was $81.53 for the car, and $48.91 for the controller.
Realize my cars are without controllers, so they're useless.
Oh no!
Because I only have the 2 controllers.
Hey, well, it's just like my pottery without the clay.
Gosh. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So this is the other thing. I got this off Scale Xtrix website, which is a British brand. So I had to convert from UK pounds, European British pounds to Canadian dollars.
Yep.
Which I've already done here. So all these prices are in Canadian.
Okay.
And then also I got shoulders and barriers, which are basically like slot cars have magnets in the front.
Shoulder.
Slot cars have magnets in the front just to because you go pretty fast and to avoid your car from flying off the track. But the good ones don't have magnets in the back, so you can get your car fishtailing like crazy. Yeah. So if you just have the track, you fishtail, you fly off the track. But if you have shoulders, widens the track a little bit, you can fishtail on the shoulders. Yeah. And then the barriers basically do the same thing, except they're like essentially like little walls.
Right.
So the shoulders I bought were $21.19 and the barriers were $16.29.
Okay.
And to be able to play with the extra car and controller I bought a digital 6-car power base, which basically makes it so that you can run multiple cars on one track, which was $322.09.
Oh my gosh.
So my total was $1,550, which honestly is closer than I thought it would be.
But here's the thing. I had a second, essentially like $300 Canadian car that was useless.
Right, because you don't have a controller.
So I had 4 cars and you had 3, and 2 were useless because anyways.
Yeah.
So I do think you kicked my butt that time, but that's okay. Clearly you know a little bit about slot cars.
I do. I grew up with them in the house. My dad always had them when he was a kid. Yeah. So yeah.
See, I would play with them at other people's houses. I didn't have a set. I was more into like Lego and Playmobil and stuff. Yeah. And but this is like danger. Like, it's like, you can upgrade things.
It is such a cool hobby. That again, like I said, if you wanted to, there is a lot of money to be spent out there.
Oh man. All right. So, are you ready for your next?
I'm so ready.
Your next.
I'm ready to get my research fingers going.
Okay. So the next hobby is golf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I'm going to give you 5 minutes, but I want to give you a number here because we've been talking about these numbers. So
does this include? Sorry, just interrupt for a second.
I'm going to tell you.
Oh,
probably.
Okay.
Let me tell you what I'm thinking, and then you can ask a question.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so it's 17 items.
Okay.
But 14 of those items are clubs.
Oh, no. Okay.
So separate clubs.
Only 3 things aren't clubs? Okay.
So, yeah. And because I could have gone further. Like, I was thinking I could add membership in there.
That's what I was literally
but
just
membership is not on there.
Okay. That was my first question.
And like I went pretty extravagant, but all these things are like available to consumers. Mm-hmm. Like you don't have to be a golf professional to get these things.
Yep.
Fair enough?
Fair enough.
All right. So I'll give you 5 minutes and then we'll get back to it.
All right.
We are back.
We are.
You've had your 5 minutes.
I have.
So I have 17 items. Tell me what items, and I think I said 14 of those were clubs.
Yeah.
So what were your other 3 items? And there's so many things you could get for golf. I kind of went for 3 general ones. But
I went for like the clubs.
Yeah.
And then I was going to do a bag, glove, and shoes.
Okay.
I got the bag and glove, but I didn't have enough time to get shoes.
Gotcha.
And I also didn't have enough time to get balls, which is kind of the whole point of golf.
Right. And I didn't do gloves.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, again, I could have added that in, but I didn't. Or like tees, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
You probably could find a golden tee on the internet if you wanted to.
You definitely could.
All right. Tell me about your price point, your price breakdown.
My price point, so I haven't calculated my total yet. I need to do that. But I don't know enough about golf to know like the specific clubs. Like I've gone golfing a few times.
Yeah.
But like I've never bought myself clubs. I got a pair from like my grandpa who gave me his old clubs.
Yeah.
So like I don't know like how many irons you need and stuff like that. And so I just got a pack of irons instead of buying them all separately.
Yep.
Which is probably cheaper, which means I probably don't have the right price here. But nonetheless, so I paid $7.99, and this is all Canadian.
Yep.
$7.99 for a driver.
Okay.
I got $4.79 for a fairway, which looked like a smaller driver. Is that
fairway wood?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, fairway wood. The iron pack thing I got, pack of irons, it was $1,899.
Okay.
The wedges were $229.99. Putter was $599. The bag was $829, and the glove was $29.99.
All right, add it up.
I will do that right now.
And golf is an interesting thing. It is a very bougie sport, meaning it's like very fancy. Yeah. And like we were mentioning, like a membership can cost like $250,000 a year, and so it can increase things. And so in relation, like you can get cheap golf clubs, like you're saying. Like I have a golf set that I've kind of added to over time, getting some used clubs, some new clubs, but I've tried to keep it low. I think like maybe I've spent, you know, $500, $600 total on all my golf stuff, you know?
Yep.
And okay, tell me your total.
My total is $4,863.
All right. Are you ready for this?
I'm so ready to get blown out of the water.
I'm so
here.
excited for this because I made a couple discoveries that it's crazy.
I'm assuming, like, I noticed, sorry to interrupt, but I noticed that I was on Callaway. Yeah. Because I looked up, like, the most popular golf brand.
Yeah.
And, like, I noticed that you could customize clubs, and I'm assuming, like, that boosts up the price like crazy.
So I didn't do any custom clubs.
Okay.
I thought about telling you that, but I was like, I have such a high price point. I was like, I don't think he's going to hit it anyway. So because you can customize the shaft of every club, the
handle, the head.
Yeah, like the grip, everything. But I went with like straight up the way that they are. So starting with my driver, which is cheap in comparison to every other club, which normally the driver is the most expensive club you get.
Yeah.
I found a brand, and it's a Korean brand that is now making its way into the North American market called Hanma. And they have a driver called the Beres, or BERES, for $1,500. So normally a driver, like I bought a driver last year for $300.
Yeah.
That's 5 times as much. But that's their cheapest club. So
that's wild.
They have woods as well. Now I went with 2 different woods, so a 3-wood and a 5-wood. They were $2,000 each from Hanma. It was called the 4-star, the Hanma 4-star.
Oh man!
So $4,000 total for just the woods. It gets crazier.
I bet.
Wedges, I found actually the brand of my driver is called PXG, and they have like low end clubs that like or
that's what I was looking on first.
Yeah,
and
so
then I realized that they were cheap.
So they have cheap clubs that are like accessible to anyone like me who's not wanting to spend a ton of money on golf, and then they have high end, and so they have a 3 wedge set, which is like a gap wedge, a lob wedge, or loft wedge, and like a sand wedge,
golf
right?
Jargon.
And so for 3 wedges, their PXG Sugar Daddy 2 set is $2,000 for 3 wedges.
Oh my goodness!
A putter. You notice
so
I haven't
already I've been blown out of the water.
Oh yeah,
already.
Way.
You haven't even finished,
and I'm not even at the expensive parts yet.
No.
So and I haven't gotten to the irons because it's like mind blowing.
Yeah.
The putter I found it's called the LA Golf putter, and it's really simple. It's made by LA Golf. It's called the LA Golf putter.
Nice.
$3,400 just for a putter.
Oh my gosh.
Now I'm gonna before I get to the irons, I'm gonna get to the cheap stuff. So the balls that you can get, the Callaway Chrome Soft, they're like the highest end on the market for like tour approved and all that.
Yeah.
They're $100 for 12 balls.
Yep.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Is that right? For a dozen? Anyways, then there's a Japanese shoemaker that's like they've started making golf shoes, and it's called the Daucus Soft Spike, and they're $850 for these golf shoes.
Wow.
Now, let's get to the expensive stuff.
Let's do it. The irons.
2 more. The irons. So for 7 clubs, they have the Hanma Berez Aizu, $40,000. $40,000 for a set of 7 clubs.
Oh, wow.
Is that not insane?
That is insane.
Now,
it's crazy.
And again, like, admittedly, I went a little over the top with this because we haven't gotten to the bag yet.
These are like professional prices. They have to be.
Well, but I mean, like, but that's the thing. No professionals use these.
Yeah.
There's one professional they have listed on their website, and it would be like just, wealthy golfers that buy this stuff,
That's wild.
So then we get into, I mean, a little bit about like the designer game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it turns out there are designer golf bags.
Of course.
So there is a brand called Valigeria Grignola.
Oh,
it sounds like granola, but it's Grignola. And they have a golf bag
at least?
that's made of blue. It's made of crocodile and dyed blue. And the cost in Canadian dollars for this bag is $83,000. So my total.
So my meekly $4,000 did not cut it.
No. So my total is $134,000, $850 Canadian. Golf, man.
Bonkers.
Golf. Or you can spend, it's becoming more accessible with like more inexpensive or buy your clubs used or whatever.
Bonkers.
But then you have to get into actually, like, every time you go golfing, it costs you money.
Yeah.
It's a crazy expensive
That's bonkers.
sport. Yeah. Anyways, so so I'm sorry you didn't quite hit the
It's okay. Look, I don't think I would, like, that's bonkers. That is, I would have not even gotten close to that. So,
all right.
Yeah.
So we have one more round. What am I researching here, Cody?
You are researching, and I will admittedly, this is something like the first one I know a little bit about slot car racing.
Yeah.
This second one, I know essentially nothing about.
Okay.
The second one here, rock climbing.
Rock climbing, and how many items did you? Find?
12 items for this one.
All right, here we go. All right, and we are back.
We are back.
So this was the easiest of them all because and part of it is like I am very interested in outdoor stuff.
Right.
And so you can quickly find it. And outdoors people are so good at like explaining their hobbies, you know? And so you can quickly find an article and then you can find. And so I said as we were going into the break that I was going to hit mech.ca. But here's what I did to try and get into the higher bracket. I went to an American website, and because I went to REI, which is essentially America's version of mech, but slightly higher end, I would say. I don't know. Maybe that's not right. And I took their prices and then turned it into Canadian.
Now, can I say something?
Yes.
I went to mech. I went to the Canadian website. I mean, I didn't actually go, but
there's
like
some
the
expensive
website,
stuff.
there is.
Yeah.
So I've just looked at your price, your final price.
Yeah.
I've looked at mine.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say who won, but they are extremely close.
Ooh-wee.
So
that's what I like to hear.
We should go step by step and tell each other how much we paid for each thing.
So here's the thing. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 items.
Didn't get to 12.
Yeah, I didn't get to 12 because I came up with 11 items, but I didn't get the 12.
Didn't have time to get the price.
Yeah, I realized I wrote something down twice and then had to change that. But okay. So my first item were shoes, and I found a pair of climbing shoes for it was $300 Canadian for these shoes.
Okay. Let me find shoes. I got a pair of shoes for $248 Canadian.
So I beat you by 50.
You beat me on the shoes.
So then I know there's a harness involved, and so I found a harness for $230.
Beat me on the harness too. I got one for $170.
Woo-wee. Okay. Rope. Who knew rope was so expensive? I found a rope for $389 US.
I beat you. Which
is $530 Canadian.
Shoot. I found one for $499 Canadian.
So I barely beat you on
rope
that.
Is wildly expensive.
So expensive.
It's crazy.
I did not realize. Interesting fact, I had I got to catch up with my friend Weston Gauld yesterday.
Okay.
He was in town, but he's headed back, and he's doing this like outdoor leadership program through Prairie Bible College. And he's being certified in rock climbing and in mountain biking.
Nice.
So I didn't even, if I had known we were going to do this, I would have talked to him about it and gotten some info.
And cheated.
Okay, I found, because I know chalk is a thing, and so I found chalk for $40.
Oh man, I got chalk for $22.95.
Okay, so chalk. Oops, I'm typing in chalk bag, but I need to do 62.
You know what?
There's something on this that I've either some of the two things I forgot.
I'm looking at it. There's one thing that separates us,
man.
I think.
Okay, so I found a chalk bag to put in, you attach it to your belt or whatever, for $85.
I got mine for $57.
Woo! REI, man.
Me right now.
I'm telling you, REI is the spot for expensive stuff. All right, so a helmet is important.
Yep.
$230 for the helmet.
$149.
Yeah, REI. Go to REI if you want expensive
stuff. If you're looking to spend a lot of money.
Okay, there's something called a quick draw, which it looks like a carabiner attached to another carabiner with a piece of rope or something in between. So I found a quick draw for $50.
I got something that's called a locking carabiner.
I also have a locking carabiner.
Okay, so I didn't get quick draw then.
Okay, so locking carabiner I found for $68.
I got mine for $189.
What?
Yeah.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
And so it's auto locking, right? There's something that causes it to
seize up, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, $189.
Yeah.
Man, well, we probably are close to even at this point.
Did you get a belay device or a belay?
No, belay. I haven't got a belay device, but I did get a climbing pack, and that was a big portion of my cash. $570 for a climbing pack.
I got a backpack, $339.
Okay. So a belay device, I didn't have time. I was counting down the last seconds getting that climbing pack. So I didn't get a belay device. How much was your
belay device? Mine was $179.
Ooh.
So that's already separating us.
Oof.
And I got a first aid kit.
Yeah.
$44.
Yeah.
Water bottle for $65.
You got to be more than 12 items then.
I got 12 items. My last one, which you might not immediately think of when climbing, but I watched a
granola bar.
The world's most expensive granola bar. No. I was watching a video on YouTube that was these are the essentials. If you want to start rock climbing, you need these things.
Yeah.
A utility knife.
Oh.
Because if you're ever up there on the cliff face and you need to cut yourself free of something, you need a knife. And the most expensive knife I could find on Mech.
Yeah.
$256, which that is what separated us, because you got $2,200 as your total.
Yeah.
I got $2,226.
Oh my goodness!
So,
but had I gotten to my belay device, I would have gotten there.
Yes,
but I didn't quite get there. So how many items did I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
So but take away my water bottle and my first aid kit,
and you didn't have quick draw.
Even.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
All right. Well, oh my goodness, that one was close. That was fun.
That was intense.
I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, me too.
Well, that was an enjoyable game. Mm-hmm. We have no idea, with all the time that we spent researching, how long this podcast is going to be. It feels like it's been a long time.
It's 40 minutes on here, so it won't be 40 minutes for you guys.
It won't. It should be 20 minutes less than that. It should be around 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But who knows? I don't know. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Maybe you do a little bit of research on your own. Maybe you find oh my goodness, you should find. Yeah, you should see this driver that I found that's a $1,000,000,000. Kabillion. Who knows?
$1,000,000,000.
$1,000,000,000.
Yeah.
But anyways, that is it for us this week.
Gold infused driver.
Well, that's it for us this week. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll see you again on Wednesdays for youth, Sunday mornings for junior high, or next Monday for podcast.
Yeah.
All right.
See you guys later.
Bye.